polls will be open for a couple more hours as Michiganders cast their ballots tonight in the presidential primaries.
Yeah, so who can we expect to take Michigan in both races? Joining us now is former Michigan House Majority Leader, Republican Rocky Raczkowski, and Democrat Richard Mack, who is executive on Michigan's 13th Congressional District. Thank you both for being here with us.
Good morning.
Thank you.
So we'll start with you, Richard. How are you feeling about what we're going to be hearing tonight once those results start coming in?
Well, I honestly think that when you look at the Republican side, you're going to see President Trump obviously dominate Michigan. And by the way, thank you, Terrence and Shayna, for having me on. But in Michigan's Republican primary right now, what we're looking at is Trump dominating. And the primary is cut for Michigan Republicans into two. Whoever wins tonight will get 16 delegates. And then in about a week on Saturday, this next Saturday on March 2nd, there'll be a convention at the Michigan Republican Convention in Grand Rapids, chaired by Pete Hoekstra, the new chair of the Michigan GOP, as we've now heard through the breaking news. And their delegates will meet by congressional district. And those are the precinct delegates, the delegates that are elected in the primary in August for each precinct in the state of Michigan. And they will determine who will receive the other 39 votes of the Michigan Republican Party.
Now, typically, when there's an incumbent in your party, it's not the most exciting year. But, Richard, a lot of eyes are on Michigan tonight, especially considering this abandoned Biden movement. We've seen sort of write-in, uncommitted votes successfully make waves in primaries before. So what are you anticipating going into the night?
Well, I mean, obviously, Biden's going to come away with the victory. But, you know, I don't think that we Democrats should be too troubled by this. I mean, this is democracy. I mean, Democrats are a big tent party. You know, this is what we're all about voicing your concern, about voicing your displeasure about something that you see going on and taking the message. I mean, if you listen to the people who are planning to vote on committee, even the leaders of the movement, they're not saying we're anti-Biden. They're saying we want to send Biden a message. We want to show him how important this progressive vote is of our party. So they're talking internal big tent. We're talking we want to see change within the party. So that's what you're hearing them say. So I think we should be excited about the fact that Biden appears to be listening. Just recently, I think it was just yesterday, he said that he expects a ceasefire in Palestine and Israel. So, you know, I think that's the sort of big tent activity that we enjoy in the Democratic Party.
And Biden has been here.
I actually agree with Richard on that respect, because when Richard said the progressive vote of the Democrats, you think about also the open borders, the amount of refugees that have entered into this country. That's one of the issues that Donald Trump has mastered. And now you're going to see both candidates going to the southern border to make that an issue, when, in all honesty, Biden's about 3.5 years late.
Oh, but the problem, of course, with what Trump did is the Republicans literally came out and said, we're not going to give you money for this war we're fighting in Ukraine. We're not going to give you money for this war that's happening in Israel and Palestine until we get a deal on the border. So what did the Democrats do? They said, yes, we'll do that. We'll come to the table. We'll get a bipartisan deal, which they did. And Trump refused to take yes for an answer. So he literally killed the very border bill that they initially had instructed to have, that we're going to have in the first place. So, they just don't have this stuff together when it comes to the border or immigration in general. But, I mean, it's hard to take immigration seriously from a candidate who called immigrants rapists and killers. And then, of course, he got found guilty for being a rapist himself to the tune of $83 million.
Richard, I apologize. Shayna and Terrence, I apologize. I got to set the record straight. He did not. My parents were immigrants. My wife is an immigrant. That's just not the case. There are some individuals that are crossing the southern border, and we're seeing that by increased crime in Michigan and other states. And obviously, Richard, you can spin it as much as you want, but in November, the people will decide.
Well, let's table this idea for right now, gentlemen. By all accounts, we are likely headed for a rematch of 2020. It certainly seems that way. And yet, Nikki Haley is still campaigning in the state. She's still asking for Michiganders' votes. Rocky, what do you think about her potential, especially with the help potentially from some Democrats planning to cross party lines today? What do you think about her decision to stay in the race, and what could that mean for Trump?
Well, I don't understand what percentage or what it would make sense for a Democrat to cross over and vote for Nikki Haley, because quite frankly, Nikki Haley is a conservative, and Republicans need to realize that we have a large base. We had some great, a large bench of candidates that were running against a former president. So they obviously may not hold a chance in this election. But we have a huge bench of very educated, very talented younger leaders that are willing to take the baton and move it forward. Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and others that are amongst conservatives that are still conservatives, that still believe in putting America first. So I don't buy into that per se. In the next 4 years, things will turn around and you'll see a different perspective.
Richard, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate where Donald Trump has taken this Republican Party. I think it would literally turn Ronald Reagan over in his grave. From someone who said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall, to now developing a bromance with our enemy, with Vladimir Putin, to the point where he goes and says, NATO, I'm going to tell Russia to attack one of our countries, because I mean, how do you go from one point to the other? I mean, it's just unfortunate,
Richard,
that he has taken this Republican Party to the point where he has. I mean, it's really a character issue. I mean, do we really want a man who's been convicted of $450 million because he lied on all of his bank loans? Do we really want a man who's now being charged with 91 counts of criminal activity, including paying off a porn star to try and to keep that relationship hush? I mean, it's a shame. You know, give me the $11 million that Joe Biden has had. Give me the low record of unemployment. Give me what Joe Biden has actually done while he's been in office. Give me Sleepy Joe all day long. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but gentlemen, we are short on time, and of course we will have plenty of time to continue these discussions and debates as we approach the November election. It's only primary day. It's going to be a long year.
Started.
Absolutely.
Thank you both for joining us, Rocky Raczkowski and Richard Mack. We appreciate your time.